Well put. It's true.
And it's true. It's just true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. I started disliking myself. It's true. It's true. Which is true.
What's up, you guys? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Litecoin and really the age-old question, could Litecoin ever be worth 1/4 of Bitcoin's price or 25% of Bitcoin's price? A lot of people have thrown that number around. A lot of people think maybe best case scenario it could happen. And a lot of people think there's not even a chance that that could ever happen or even come close to that. So we're going to be taking a look at that as well as more conservative estimates of the peak percentage that Litecoin could get in terms of Bitcoin's market cap, what looks realistic, what looks possible, and we're going to be taking a look at some timeframes as well. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all the good stuff, and we can just jump right into it. So to start this video, I want to start on Litecoin's pairing to Bitcoin. This is the Litecoin Bitcoin pairing on Coinbase here. So historically, Litecoin has really struggled between 0.5% of Bitcoin's value and 2% of Bitcoin's value. So it's really fluctuated in between 0.5% to all the way up to 2%, but 2% is where it really finds a lot of resistance and is not really able, or has not been able historically to break out of that. So if you're not familiar with the topic, a lot of people think that because there's a lot of reasons, but kind of the main underlying reason is that Litecoin's circulating supply is 4 times that of Bitcoin, and with things like atomic swaps and the pairing of Bitcoin and Litecoin and all of the cohesiveness they have together, they think ultimately that it could lead Litecoin to being 1/4 of Bitcoin's value. So we're going to take a look at some numbers here to see what that would look like. Is it realistic? Is it possible? And if it's not possible, maybe a more conservative estimate way to look at this as well. So at today's value, as of today, June 6th, 2019, Litecoin being 25% of Bitcoin's price, or if Litecoin was 1/4 of Bitcoin's price. Today, Bitcoin is worth roughly 7,700. If Litecoin was worth 25% of Bitcoin today, that would make Litecoin roughly 1,900 or $2,000. So if Litecoin would, I don't personally think this will happen anytime soon, if ever, but let's say something crazy. This is the 1 to 2%. Right here is 2%. If Litecoin went all the way up to 25%, I'm trying to hide this text because that's for the later part of the video. If it went all the way up to 25% of Bitcoin's value and Bitcoin didn't move, again, doesn't make any sense. It would never happen, most likely. I don't see why that would ever happen, but if it did, it would make Litecoin about 2,000. So that's just to give you an idea of kind of the numbers and percentages we're dealing with and how realistic or unrealistic they may sound. That also would make Litecoin's market cap 120 billion US dollars. And if we take a look here, the entire cap of the entire market of cryptocurrency is 246 billion. So essentially Litecoin's market cap would have to be half of the entire market cap of cryptocurrency. That would make Litecoin dominance like over 40%, over 50%. It would just be ridiculous. It wouldn't make any sense, especially if everything else didn't move. Now, this is a pro Litecoin video, obviously. I think Litecoin's going to do amazing, and there's some things I want to get to in this video. This part does not sound very positive or bullish towards Litecoin, but I just want to kind of throw these numbers out to get a realistic view, I guess, of can these things happen, can they not happen, or would it make sense? So realistically, I don't see that really being the case. Essentially, Litecoin's market cap would have to be the same as Bitcoin's, and that's kind of what the 1/4 proposition entails, because the circulating supply is 4 times Bitcoin's. So essentially, the market cap would come out to be the same if that would end up being the case, if Litecoin's value was 1/4 of Bitcoin's value. So seeing as how $120 billion market cap for Litecoin when the entire crypto space is only 250 billion, that does not make a lot of sense right now, or ever. I don't really think that'll ever be the case. If we would look at super bullish scenarios for Litecoin, maybe that would be a different video. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but again, I really just don't see that being the case anytime soon. Maybe in the future, you know, I think a lot of news and a lot of stuff would have to come out. Adoption for Litecoin would have to be very extensive, but just for the purposes of this video, that's all I'm going to talk about, the 1/4. So I want to move on. So what would 1/4 of the 25% prediction for Litecoin be? So 1/4 of 25% is roughly 6%. And so what if Litecoin had a huge run and it finally broke out of this 0.5% to 2% all the way up to 6% of Bitcoin's price? So that would be 1/4 of the 25% Bitcoin prediction. And I think that's a little more rational and makes a little more sense. If you're super bullish on Litecoin and you think it could have a great future, then you could maybe imagine a world where we do have a breakout where it triples in value essentially. We saw something with Litecoin back in December that get a lot of people excited. And, what if in the future Litecoin continues to do very well, gain more and more brand recognition, and just becomes very well adopted? Well, if that was the case, that would put Litecoin all the way up here. It would have to break out of this 0.5% to 2% and jump all the way up here to this line, which is 6% of a Bitcoin. So at today's value, that would put Litecoin at $463 US, which is basically right up there with the all-time high of Litecoin, very close. A $400 Litecoin is not very different from a $463, and Litecoin did go above 420, 430 on some exchanges, I believe. So 460 roughly would be 6% of today's price of roughly 7,700, which is Bitcoin's price. And if Bitcoin went back to 8,000, that would make Litecoin roughly about $500. So that sounds a little more reasonable. Even some conservative people on the next run think 500 is like guaranteed, and this is on the next run. So even people that don't really think Litecoin has a position still think it'll at least hit 500 on the next run. So I think that's really realistic, and I don't think it's very bullish at all. Again, this is at the peak of the next run, so possibilities are endless, and 500 really is not that high. It's already been a little over 400, so an extra 100 there, percentage-wise, back to all-time high is really nothing. I expect a lot more, but I'm trying to be conservative just for these estimations here. So what would Litecoin's price be then if Bitcoin returned back to all-time highs of 20,000 and Litecoin was holding that 6% of Bitcoin's price? That would make Litecoin roughly $1,200 US. That makes sense because at one point Litecoin was 2% of Bitcoin's price. You can see it on the chart here. This is back in February of 2018, even back in July of 2017, and also December of 2017. It really hovered right around 2% and even slightly above that, all the way up to 2.5%. So almost, halfway there to 3%. But it got rejected there, obviously, and it's been kind of teetering in there for a while. So with Bitcoin hitting 20,000, if Litecoin maintained a 6%, again, this is kind of conservative, I think, but I'm just trying to be more realistic here, and this is on the next bull run. That would make Litecoin roughly $1,200, and I think kind of charting in between 1,200 and 1,000 would be pretty fair right there. That's what I have this box here for. This would be the range that it would be trading in. Again, this is the all-time high here. If we look on Coinbase, it went all the way up to about $420 US there. And on smaller time frames, I think it even went slightly higher than that, but really it capped around 400. So that is 3 times what its all-time high was back in December of 2017, because instead of struggling between 1 to 2% of Bitcoin's value, it would jump all the way up to 6%. So why would Litecoin ever reach those valuations? I think long-term, again, there would have to be big news and big adoption, but I think atomic swaps between Bitcoin and Litecoin and other cryptocurrencies could facilitate that, maybe as a possibility. Again, more and more brand recognition. Another thing that we do in these videos and people talk about is comparing cryptocurrency to US dollars. But again, if cryptocurrency succeeds, it most likely won't be really right to compare cryptocurrency to a USD valuation. But maybe think of it as like, maybe let's say Litecoin reaches $3,000. It would make more sense to say, oh, well, one Litecoin can buy me a super high-end gaming computer or something like that. Because $3,000 roughly would get you a pretty good gaming computer, and instead of talking about it in USD, it would be like, wow, one Litecoin can buy a really nice computer. That would be pretty valuable, right? As opposed to the $100 Litecoin now, which you could not get pretty much any computer for $100. A $3,000 computer, if that was worth one Litecoin, you can see why that value would still be relative to that, and it still kind of makes sense to compare it to USD, especially just because we haven't really entered that kind of thing yet. So again, it's not right to compare things to USD in terms of Bitcoin, to compare crypto to USD, but at the same time, it's kind of the only format we really have right now to compare it, so it makes it hard. And I think it also just makes it easier for people watching these videos and discussing to get a good idea of what we mean in terms of like valuation differences and everything like that. But that's going to do it for the video. If you guys are new, make sure to hit that like, sub, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.
Well put. It's true. And it's true. It's just true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. I started disliking myself. It's true. It's true. Which is true.